Today's video is inspired by some disappointing recent events. On September 1st, 2023, the clip hosting service GiphyCat was discontinued, taking with it years of documented Rocket League history. Now, the name might not mean anything to you, but from launch all the way until about 2019, this site was where almost every single Rocket League Reddit post hosted its footage. During a discussion about this topic with Rocket League Reddit guru HoraryHellfire, we started reminiscing and sharing all the weird glitches and bugs that had been posted to the Rocket League subreddit over the years, most featuring the same two words in their titles: Psyonix Please. As we found more and more interesting bug clips in the GiphyCat database, I decided to start downloading them. We finished our work just a day before the site shut down, and now I am pleased to be able to share the preserved record of some of the weirdest Rocket League bugs ever recorded. Now, while there were a lot of funny lag and broken server clips like this one here, the main focus of this video is going to be legitimate bug footage rather than internet or server related issues. But to start out, I want to explain the origin of Psyonix Please, because while it would eventually be the go-to title for any bug-related post, it first gained meme status due to terrible goalpost physics. It's impossible to know who said it first, but it quickly became a saying that everyone on the Rocket League subreddit knew and understood. Yes, pro or rookie, no one was immune to Psyonix post physics. People made animations, they zoomed in and analyzed plays in slow motion, but when it came to titling their clips, what else could they really say when a perfectly placed shot bounces out of the net like this? Psyonix Please efficiently described the feelings of betrayal and the need for relief. Of course, if it was your net, it was a little different, and there was definitely a few Psyonix thank you titles when those very same posts came through to save the day. In my search, there was one submission that perfectly captured the year 2016 for the Rocket League subreddit. It was titled, "Locking Noses, a Half Flip, and a Psyonix Please. Are you not entertained?" Yes, this clip is a time capsule of 3 common 2016 community references. While locking noses hadn't yet been dubbed Rule 1, it was becoming more frequent. Half flips were one of the game's first discovered mechanics, and was starting to become more widely adapted at this point. And of course, the clip finishes off with a Psyonix Please, which by this time everyone knew was the infamous post bounce. While the devs would finally respond to these polite requests for change with a goalpost patch in 2017, by then, Psyonix Please was already permanently established in the Rocket League community's vocabulary, destined to live on for all future bug-related posts and issues. While it's a rare bug, there's been a few times in the past that the Rocket League ball has had some issues. Okay, maybe that's an understatement. Anyways, fortunately, there were players that were able to document these so that viewers in the future, like us, can enjoy their suffering. Our last clip was actually captured during the launch of free-to-play. With millions of players joining the game, there was bound to be some issues, though this is probably one of the stranger ones. While queuing for drop shot, these 3 players ended up by themselves on a regular map with a drop shot ball. While some in the comments doubted the authenticity of this clip, you can see the scoreboard confirms this was a competitive game. Also, I read experiences from a few other players that had the same thing happen, including one that ended up in a regular map with a hoops ball. Over the years, Rocket League maps have given us many reasons to say Psyonix Please. Or, in some cases, Psyonix No. Now, one of the great features of maps in Rocket League is the smooth transitions. From floor to wall to ceiling, or even inside the net, there's very few places that will outright stop your movement. It's a fact that no doubt made these bugs especially jarring for the players involved. Next, we have some examples of the game being both generous in awarding goals, while in other cases, painfully robbing its players of a deserved point. Yes, Psyonix both giveth and taketh away. Non-standard or experimental maps were notorious for having the most issues, including weird bounces, walls you can fall through, and the game sometimes just taking the ball and not giving it back. With some of these issues being repeatable, players could use them to their advantage. Here, the player purposely gets outside the map, then uses the swapper ability to trap an opponent. And I especially appreciated how he made sure to flaunt his freedom to the other player's face before heading back into the game. Interestingly, there was one type of map-related Psyonix Please clip that wasn't based on a bug, but still resulted in a response from the devs. HoraryHellfire's Reddit post in 2016 is one of many that highlighted the need for wall and post transparency in Rocket League. And in August 2017, Psyonix delivered with the transparent goalpost update. Players have been saying Psyonix Please about demolitions for basically the entire history of Rocket League, but 99% of the time those complaints are based on either client-side prediction and ping, a misunderstanding of the demolition rules and requirements, or just the inability to accurately analyze interaction at game speed. But before the rules were changed in 2018, there were some specific situations that did cause seemingly perfect demo setups to fail. Here's a good example from former Rocket League modder and current Psyonix dev, Cinderblock. Everything about this play indicates it should result in a demolition. He's supersonic, well within the angle requirements, and there's even a physical effect on that car that shows he hit something. And yet, no demo. The explanation for this bug comes down to the unintended interaction between the demolition requirement of hitting a target with your front bumper and the physics tick rate for Rocket League servers. In certain situations, the bumper instead went fully inside the other car and couldn't hit the surface, failing the demo or even the bump check. Fortunately, the center of mass angle comparison adapted in 2018 has removed the front bumper requirement and fixed this glaring issue. Now, before we get to the last section of the video, I have a few random Psyonix Please submissions that didn't really fit a topic. This first one is another that Psyonix actually did respond to and fix, but it was more poor game design than actual bug. In September 2018, Rocket League released the very first Rocket Pass and implemented a new XP system, which then teamed up to create an unskippable sequence at the end of your game that could last up to 27 seconds. Next, we have a boost pad that can be picked up twice, which I honestly think would be a great feature to combat those teammates that seem to need both big boost pads after kickoff. Then we have this clip from beta in 2015. Now this one probably could be classified as a server issue, but it's definitely a unique one as some invisible force is pushing both the ball and players back into the net. Notice how the kickoff timer doesn't even have a chance to finish, and there's already been 39 goals scored without a single second ticking off the clock. All the while players are leaving and joining the lobby, meaning this game is never going to end. For our final section, I wanted to highlight some of the Psyonix Please posts we found that were not proof of a bug or the game being broken, and there were a lot of them. Now these days, I do think the community is a lot more educated on how the game works, and as such, some of these clips may seem dated in that regard. But even in 2023, a misunderstanding of online interactions in a fast-paced game like Rocket League is still demonstrated by players all the way up to the pro level. So here are a few examples to reiterate the fact that not understanding why something happened doesn't necessarily mean it's broken or wrong. To start out with, it's important to remember that both in-game interactions and replay files are never going to be perfectly accurate. Just because you saw something as completely in the net doesn't mean it was on the server side. Having multiple clients with differing pings interacting with each other and the ball is an incredible accomplishment, and prediction logic is a key part of why Rocket League is able to do that. But it's also the reason the ball keeps moving on your screen after it touches the ground at 0 seconds. No, this isn't the game stealing a goal from you. Hitboxes extend outside the visual model on a lot of vehicles, which is what I think this player is having a hard time understanding here. Also, replays only save half the information the server sends you live while playing, and thus they're not really designed to be analyzed in super slow motion. During very fast or close interactions, prediction calculations may think you or another player touched the ball, but then will correct itself when the server data differs. This effect will increase with your ping rate, and replay files will contain some of that inaccurate data. Once again, not broken, just the realities of online interactions. This was from a Reddit post that told Psyonix they needed to remove ghost hits, which is amusing on two accounts. First, because it tells them to remove an unavoidable byproduct of a very necessary system for Rocket League to function, and secondly, due to the fact that not having a ghost hit here wouldn't have meant he would have hit the ball anyways. The ghost hit is due to how close his car was to the ball, but in the end, had no effect on the play. And finally, demolitions. Sparks can appear due to prediction logic too. If your target does not react to your hit, you most likely missed them on the server side. Remember, car location is not exact. Also, there are angle requirements for demolitions. This clip from before 2018 was outside the 45-degree requirement and thus not a demo according to the rules at the time, though nowadays I do believe this would have been a demolition. So I guess this Psyonix Please post did get what they are asking for. Eventually. I hope you enjoyed this look back into the history of bugs and glitches in Rocket League. As sad as it was to lose GiphyCat, I'm glad we had the chance to preserve some of the more interesting clips with this video. If you're not already, I invite you to subscribe for more history and story-based Rocket League content, and check out my recent video on 9 game-changing updates that made Rocket League easier. Also, shout out to Halfway Dead of the Rocket Science channel, who took it upon himself to back up every top Rocket League Reddit post over the history of the game. My name is Rocket Sledge. See you next time.